What if the way you've been thinking about your budget has been the single biggest thing standing between you and a debt-free life? Millions of people have used one specific budgeting method to eliminate thousands of dollars of debt in under a year. Not by earning more, but by telling every single dollar exactly where to go. Today we're breaking down the mechanics of zero-based budgeting, the psychology behind why it works, and a practical 12-month framework you can actually follow. Let's start with the foundation. Zero-based budgeting, often abbreviated as ZBB, is a method where your income minus your expenses equals exactly zero at the end of every month. Now, before you panic, that does not mean you spend every dollar you earn. It means every dollar gets a job, whether that job is paying rent, buying groceries, building an emergency fund, or attacking debt. No dollar is left sitting around without a purpose or a plan. The concept itself has roots in corporate finance. In the 1970s, an accountant named Peter Payer developed a formal zero-based budgeting system for Texas Instruments and later adapted it for government use in Georgia under then-Governor Jimmy Carter. The core idea was radical for its time. Instead of basing next year's budget on last year's spending and just adjusting it slightly, you start from zero and justify every single expense from scratch. When this philosophy migrated from boardrooms into personal finance, it resonated deeply. Because the truth is, most household budgets are built the same lazy way corporations used to do it. We look at last month's spending, shrug, and assume this month will look roughly the same. Zero-based budgeting forces a completely different mindset. You become intentional. You become the CEO of your own finances. And that shift in mindset, research in behavioral economics consistently shows, is often more powerful than any spreadsheet or app. Before we map out the 12-month plan, it's worth understanding why debt is so psychologically sticky. Paying off debt isn't just a math problem. If it were purely about numbers, anyone who understood compound interest would never carry a credit card balance. But millions of intelligent people do, every single day. Why? Behavioral economists call it present bias. Our brains are hardwired to value immediate rewards far more than future benefits. Spending $80 on a dinner tonight feels real and satisfying. The abstract future version of yourself who is debt-free feels distant and theoretical. Your brain, from an evolutionary standpoint, is not built to prioritize that future self. There's also something called the minimum payment trap. Credit card companies legally disclose that making only minimum payments can turn a $3,000 balance into a decade-long debt journey. But the minimum payment number itself is designed to feel manageable, even comfortable. It's a feature, not a bug, from the lender's perspective. Zero-based budgeting works as a psychological intervention precisely because it forces you to confront your numbers every single month. Studies on financial behavior suggest that people who actively write down and assign their spending, rather than passively tracking it, develop a stronger sense of agency over their money. You stop feeling like debt is happening to you, and you start feeling like you are actively fighting back. That shift is everything. All right, let's get into the actual mechanics. Here is how you build a zero-based budget from the ground up, step by step. Step 1, calculate your real monthly take-home income. Not your salary, your actual after-tax, after-deduction income that lands in your bank account. If your income varies month to month, use the lowest month from the past 6 months as your baseline. It's always safer to underestimate here. Step 2. List every single expense, starting with your fixed essentials: rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments, groceries, transportation. These are non-negotiables. Write the exact dollar amounts where you know them. Step 3. List your variable expenses: dining out, subscriptions, clothing, entertainment, personal care. Be honest. Pull up your bank statements from the last 2 to 3 months and look at what you actually spend, not what you think you spend. Most people are genuinely surprised. Step 4. Allocate a line item for savings and your debt payoff fund. In a zero-based system, these are treated exactly like expenses. Your debt attack fund is a bill you pay to yourself and your future. Step 5. Do the math. Subtract every single line item from your take-home income. If you end up with a positive number, you have unassigned dollars. Give them a job immediately, preferably accelerating your debt payoff. If you end up with a negative number, you need to cut something. Go back to your variable expenses and find the fat to trim. The goal, income minus all assigned categories equals 0. For the debt payoff piece specifically, there are two well-documented ordering methods. The avalanche method targets your highest interest debt first, which minimizes the total interest you pay mathematically. The snowball method targets your smallest balance first, which generates faster psychological wins and builds momentum. Research from the Harvard Business Review has found that the snowball method tends to produce better real-world completion rates for many people, even though the avalanche is mathematically superior in isolation. Neither is universally right. The best method is the one you'll actually stick with. Now let's put a timeline on this. 12 months is a meaningful target. Long enough to be realistic, short enough to stay motivated. Here's how to think about structuring the year. Months 1 and 2 are your foundation months. Your only goal here is to build the habit and get one small emergency fund in place. Most personal finance educators recommend somewhere in the range of $500 to $1,000 as a starter buffer, purely to stop unexpected expenses from derailing your debt payments. During these months, you're also doing the detective work, categorizing your past 3 months of spending, identifying your debt balances and interest rates, and building your zero-based budget template. Months 3 through 6 are your momentum months. By now, the budget format should feel more natural. This is where you aggressively cut variable expenses. Revisit every subscription, renegotiate bills where possible. Internet insurance providers often have retention rates available for customers who ask, and redirect every freed-up dollar to your debt target. Even finding an extra $150 to $200 per month and applying it consistently to a debt can dramatically reduce your payoff timeline thanks to reduced interest accrual. Months 7 through 10 are your acceleration months. If you've stuck with the process, you'll likely have eliminated at least one debt entirely by now. This is where the snowball or avalanche really kicks in. Those freed up minimum payments from closed debts get rolled into your next target, creating a compounding payoff effect. This is also the phase where people often find additional income opportunities. Not because they're desperate, but because they've become more intentional about their financial life. Selling unused items, picking up extra hours, monetizing a skill, any additional income injected directly into the debt payoff plan can compress the timeline significantly. Months 11 and 12 are your closing months. You're doing final calculations, celebrating cleared debts, and beginning to plan what comes after. Zero-based budgeting doesn't stop when the debt is gone. You simply reassign those debt payment dollars to savings, investing, or other financial goals. The habit you've built over 12 months is arguably more valuable than the debt you've eliminated. Even with the best system, there are predictable failure points worth knowing about, so you can prepare for them in advance. Mistake number 1. Forgetting irregular expenses. Car registration, annual subscriptions, holiday gifts, back-to-school costs. These feel like surprises only because we don't plan for them. The fix is to create a sinking fund, a monthly line item where you divide annual expenses by 12 and set that amount aside each month. If your car insurance renews annually at $1,200, you budget $100 per month into that sinking fund. When the bill arrives, you're ready. Mistake number 2. Budgeting in your head instead of on paper or a system. Research on working memory consistently shows that our brains are not reliable calculators under the stress of daily life. Write it down. Use a spreadsheet, a notebook, a budgeting app. The format matters far less than the consistency of the practice. Mistake number 3. Treating a budget overage as a failure rather than data. When you spend more than you budgeted in a category, the emotionally easy response is to abandon the whole system. The productive response is to ask why it happened and adjust next month's budget accordingly. Budgets are living documents, not moral scorecards. Mistake number 4. Not having an accountability structure. Studies on goal achievement consistently find that having some form of external accountability, a partner, a friend, an online community, significantly improves follow-through rates. Personal finance can feel deeply private, but even sharing your goal broadly without sharing specific numbers can help maintain commitment. Zero-based budgeting isn't magic, and a 12-month timeline isn't a guarantee. But the combination of intentional dollar allocation, psychological momentum, and a structured framework has helped countless people fundamentally change their relationship with debt. The mechanics are straightforward. Calculate your real income, assign every dollar a purpose, prioritize debt payoff as a non-negotiable line item, and repeat consistently for 12 months. What makes it work isn't the spreadsheet. It's the mindset shift from passive spending to active decision-making about every dollar you earn. Debt is, at its core, a mathematical problem, but paying it off is a behavioral one. And now you understand both sides of that equation. If this breakdown was helpful to you, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. We publish new personal finance education content every week designed to help you understand the systems and psychology behind money so you can make more informed decisions for your own life. Drop a comment below and let us know. Have you tried zero-based budgeting before? And what was your experience? We read every single one.